What's up guys, Dylan here from AYCB, and I'm back with another how to play video, this time for Via Magica, which is a really cool 2 to 6 player game from Paolo Mori, who did one of my favorite games, Ethnos, and I like to describe this game as bingo on steroids.
All You Can Board does not condone the use of performance-enhancing substances when engaged in bingo activities or while playing other board games.
Now the reason I call it that is because it plays very similar to bingo, as you'll see as I get into it, but with some twists and some special abilities and things to really jazz up the formula. So without further ado, let's jump right in. To set up Via Magica, first place the 23 Animus tokens in the fabric bag. Next, take all 10 bonus rewards and arrange them on the table for everyone to see. Shuffle the deck of magic portal cards and put them in a face-down draw pile on the table. Flip 5 of these face up and put them in a row. Next, you're going to deal 6 of these cards to each player in the game. Every player is then going to choose 3 of these to keep and 3 of them to discard. Note that there are 2 copies of every portal card, and each player may only play 1 of each type of portal. So if you draw more than 1 of the same type, discard 1 and draw a new one. Next, give each player 7 crystals for their personal supply. Decide on a starting player who will become the first catcher of the game, meaning they will draw from the fabric bag and give them the bag to start. And that's it, now you're ready to play. So turns in Via Magica are pretty simple and they go pretty quick. There are 4 phases in them. The first one is to capture an animus. The next one is to crystallize an animus. The third one is to open portals if you can. And finally, again, if you can, claim any bonus rewards. So 2 of these are optional, or will only trigger if you actually can trigger them. The first 2 will always happen, and you can basically just think of them as 1, grab a token from the bag, and 2, use that token to be able to place a crystal on one of your portals. So let me explain them a little bit better. Let's start with phase 1, capture an animus. To do this, whoever is the catcher draws an animus token from the bag and announces which type of animus it is to the rest of the players. Note that not every animus spirit has the same amount of tokens in the bag. So whereas air has 6 tokens in the bag and is the easiest one to draw, shadow only has a single token in the bag and is the rarest one. There's a handy player aid that will remind you how many of each of the animus spirits there are in the game. Now, one thing I should mention is that when you remove tokens from the bag at the start of each turn, you are not putting them back into the bag afterwards. They are staying out of the bag, and so those can't be drawn again, which means you're probably wondering how you get those back in the bag or what you would do when you run out of tokens. Well, anytime you draw a wild token, which is obviously the most valuable token in the bag, there's 2 of them. Anytime you draw one of those, everyone can place a crystal in any spot they want, and then all tokens go back into the bag and you shuffle the bag up, and you now pass the bag to the next player to the left, and they become the person drawing tokens from the bag. So that's how you can replenish from the bag, but just keep in mind you're not adding tokens back in until a wild token is drawn. Moving on to phase 2, crystallize the animus. Every player may now take a crystal and add it to a matching spot on one of their portal cards that matches the animus token that was just drawn. Now the interesting bit here is that you will have a supply of 7 crystals that you can take from to add to your portal cards, but you may also take crystals from other spots that you've already placed them on. So for instance, if you had placed a few crystals on the air token spots on your portal cards, which are a lot easier to come by, and a shadow one was drawn, if you had no crystals in your personal supply, they had all been placed, you may take one off of an air spot and put it onto a shadow spot because you know it'll be easier to get one back on that air spot later. If you do choose to move a crystal from a previously placed spot, you can do this from an entirely different portal, or you can even take a token that's on a portal and just move it to a different spot on that same portal. Note that you are only allowed to place 1 or move 1 crystal per token drawn. And finally, phase 3 is open the portals, and you will do this only if you've completed all the animus spots on one of your portal cards, at which point you call out incantatum, which is the equivalent to bingo in this game. But if you're like me and you struggle to say that word, you can just call out bingo and completely ruin the thematics. If you have completed a portal and are going to open it, the first thing you do is remove all crystals from the portal and return it to the stockpile. Next, it's time to use this portal special effect. I'm going to explain a little bit more about these special effects in the next section, so for now just know that this is where you would use it, but I'll come back to this later. Next, you'll move your portal to your achievements area, which is basically just your completed portal area. Next, it's time to select a new portal from the face-up row of 5 on the table. You will take one of these and add it to your other portals that have not yet been opened. Again, keep in mind you can only use 1 copy of a portal in a game, so if there is another one available that you've already completed, you cannot take it. And finally, replenish the central row of 5 face-up cards back up to 5. Before I get into the final phase and explain claiming the bonus rewards, I just want to mention that if multiple people complete a portal on the same turn, the person who actually gets to open their portal first and therefore gets to claim bonus rewards first is the first person that yells out incantatum. So if you're like me and you struggle to say it, get used to that a little bit better because the first one to say to the table is going to get first dibs on everything. Okay, let's talk about the final phase, claiming bonus rewards. You can only claim a reward if you're the first person to meet certain requirements. For instance, there are 5 portal color rewards. If you're the first person to open 3 portals of the same color, you may claim a bonus card. So for instance, if I was the first person to open 3 green portals, I would be able to claim this green portal bonus card, which gets me 6 points. Note that there are not equal quantities of all colors in the deck. So blue is the rarest, whereas yellow is the most common. So gaining the yellow bonus card will only get you 2 bonus points, whereas getting the blue bonus card will get you 10. The 5th portal color bonus card is just for having 1 of each color of portal. So once you have 1 yellow, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 purple portal opened, you may claim that card for 8 bonus points. The other type of bonus cards that you'll see are the ones that are awarded for having a certain number of portals completed, doesn't matter what color they are. So the way that these work is that if I was the first person to reach 3 portals opened, I could claim that card, but here's the caveat. You can only ever claim 1 of these, and you have to claim it at the exact moment that you reach that exact number. So if I were to open my 4th portal and choose not to claim that bonus card because I wanted to go for the 5 or the 6, I can't retroactively go back and claim the 4 if someone gets the 5 and the 6 before me. So you have to choose what your risk and reward here is and how high you want to actually go for before you say, I'm content taking this bonus card and not getting any more. Just keep in mind that the higher the bonus you go for, the more bonus points you will receive. If you claim the card for opening only 2 portals, you'll only get 2 bonus points. Whereas if you wait and claim the one for opening 6 portals, you will get 10 bonus points. And that's basically an entire turn in Via Magica, and you will just keep doing this until one person ends the turn with 7 open portals in their supply. At that point, that triggers the end game. Multiple players can obviously reach 7 or potentially even reach more than 7 that turn, but 7 is the trigger for the end game. At that point, you're just adding up points, and the points come from 2 places. It's the bonus cards that you've claimed, as well as all the portals you've opened are worth a different amount of points. So having said that, I'm going to explain all the bonus rewards that you get, or abilities I should say, for completing certain portals to give you a bit of an idea of how you can start chaining these together and what these powers actually do. So each of the 4 different colors of portals are each associated with a different type of effect. Yellow portals are instantly activated, and as soon as you open that portal, you will instantly get the bonus. Green portals are delayed effects that are essentially endgame bonuses. These will usually have you meeting certain conditions to get extra bonus points at the end of the game. Blue portals give you permanent effects or changes to your abilities that are now there for the entire game. And finally, purple portals have no special effect, they're just worth an extra amount of victory points. So let's go over an example of each type of portal just so you can understand what some of these are. When this yellow portal is completed, you will be immediately able to place 2 crystals from your supply onto 2 shadow spots on other portals you own. You could also move these crystals from other animus spots that you've already placed them on. Opening this green portal will give you bonus points at the end of the game for every blue portal you've opened. So for instance, if I had opened this portal and completed 2 other blue portals at the end of the game, I would gain 4 points for each of those blue portals and gain a total of 8 extra bonus points. Opening this blue portal would make it so that from now on for the rest of the game, all water animus tokens are wild for me only. And finally, opening this purple portal would just give me 11 points. Now there's obviously 40 unique portal cards in the deck, so there's a lot of abilities I haven't gone over here. But that being said, most of them are variations on what I've explained here, and the iconography is pretty easy to understand. And if you have any trouble, there's a handy guide in the back of the rulebook that explains what every single portal card does. So even though I've only done a few examples, you should be able to catch on pretty quickly to the rest. And really the last thing to note is that it is possible to open more than 1 portal on your turn. And that's because if you open a portal and that effect then triggers adding crystals, for instance, to another portal, which also completes that one, you'd complete multiple ones on your turn. If you do that, you get to do the bonus effects, the reward effects on each of the cards for every portal you complete. So you can chain this into multiple portals on a turn if you want to go that route. There's tons of possibilities. And that's how you play via Magica. It's really not that complicated. If you can learn bingo, you're already halfway there to learning the rules of this game, but it's a lot of fun and it's an easy one to play around the table with kids, adults, and people that maybe aren't as familiar with some of these more complex board games, but want something a little bit more complex than regular bingo. So I hope this video helped you out. I hope it helped you get it to the table just a little bit quicker. If you like it, leave a like on the video, leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate all the support. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I should say, incantatum.